Alrighty, Rooney. I always forget that when you schedule these live streams, they don't go live until you hit this go live button. But if you just set up a live stream, and then I have this little, like, look at this. I have this little, like, waiting screen I had running for, like, the past hour. Probably for no other reason, just to see if the stream connectivity was working properly. But, oh, whatever. At least now I'm on time, and I'm live, and for some weird reason my OBS system keeps overtaking my Windows, and my phone doesn't want to charge. Charging. Thank you. Okay. Hi. Hello. Welcome to my closet. Did I want to end up in my closet in 2020? No. But did we also want a pandemic? Why do I keep talking about the pandemic? Ugh, it's gotten too much airtime. Anyway. Maybe I'm still not live. Interesting. Did we also want pandemic? Why do I keep talking about pandemic? Ugh, it's gotten too much airtime. Okay, my microphone is making my voice stupid low. Let me change that.
How do I sound right now? Because I'm using a different microphone far away from me right now. So, alright, I know this isn't probably ideal audio, but I need to really figure out why this keeps making... Damn it. Alright. Hold, please. Alright. Okay, so what's up with this guy? Hold on. I just need to hear myself really quick. Alright. Okay, so hold on. I just need to hear myself really quick. I love, like, I'm in a time loop. Anyway, that sounds much better. At least more akin to what my voice actually sounds like, but my speaker is right here, so I'm going to readjust some things, because I don't need any of this if I don't need that microphone. And this can actually go down. When you're working in a closet, it is hard to utilize your space. But when you're also 25 living at your parents' house, that is also a hard way to utilize your space. Anyway, hi. How are you? My name is Colt, and I don't know if you know, but this is a YouTube channel that I am jumpstarting out of both creative block. Okay, sorry, I was fucking with the microphone. This is like an effort to get me out of my creative rut, calm me down a little bit maybe, but also, I don't know. My therapist said to me one time, she's like, you should start a blog. And I thought that was the funniest thing I had ever heard, because I think, one, that's like such an old thing to like just have a blog, though I know people still do it and it's still popular. And I think actually people would benefit from reading rather than viewing things online, but you know, what can you do? We are a visual people. And also, I have been writing since I can remember. I had probably thousands of journals, none of which are filled because I don't finish anything. And that's kind of the theme of my life, which is going to be interesting, because how do you conclude a life that you never finish? That is as philosophical as I am going to get today, because, oh boy, has the world lost its mind? I mean, we've known it's crazy as shit, but that's kind of the theme of my life. Okay, cool. I know there's probably also a little bit of an echo in here. Eventually I'll probably grab some sound foam, but yeah, that's that on that. This cable. Okay, I think we got my setup going. And I kind of like this better, that the microphone is a little bit away and you can still hear me. With this microphone, I can't be up close because I can't adjust. Well, actually, now I can adjust the levels. Interesting. Cool. Well, that's cool. And let's see if... Oh, nope. That's not set up properly. Ooh, not that screen. Interesting. I'm trying to set up my dual screen thing, but it's not identifying that I have another monitor. But I do. Okay. Okay. Cool. That's still not the monitor I want. But what if I just move myself over to this monitor, and then I use my big monitor? That'll be fun. Alright. Unless OBS doesn't want to move anymore. Aha! Beat the system. So, but now I need OBS back up again. Where am I? Probably should have set this up before. There we go. Cool. That's interesting. I don't like that background color anymore. Select a different color. Which is a better color? Blue. Everything is blue. I'm just confused. Like, look what I'm looking at right now. I can't move anything, and it's bothering me. I also don't know. Ooh, those are all locked. So if I do the fade at, no, what if I do the fade at 250? See, okay, that fades a little faster. I kind of like that better. But we'll remove this. We'll remove this. Okay, I didn't know you could do. Now cut. Cool. That's a fade to black. I guess that's how you end the thing. All right. And ha! Cool. That was so slow. All right. Anyway, why am I here today? Who the hell knows? I fully am aware that nobody is subscribed to this YouTube channel, and also, oh wait, I can move things now. Not OBS though. Why? Am I doing something wrong? Okay, fine, that's cool. I guess I won't use this screen. Oh my god. You know, stream is healthy, stream is poor. There's not enough video to maintain anything. Stream is healthy, stream is poor. How many dropped frames do I have? 3%. I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't know. I just probably need faster internet. Or to get one of those Ethernet cables all the way over here. Now you got me on the spot. I don't know what to talk about. You should see the amount of crap that I have compiled with 2 collapsible TV dinner trays. I guess that's what they call them. A little shelf thing here, a bench right behind me, and my computer monitor is sitting up on a little shelf that I bought from Walmart that is that fake wood that is just plastic covering over God knows what material. Oh, it is Friday. I just went to the chiropractor. I need to practice proper posture. I'm currently sitting on a towel so that my... Actually, I need to re-roll this towel because it's gotten so flat. It needs to be more cylindrical. So I'll do that live on camera for all to view. Anyway, I am in the process, and it's going to be a continuous process of creating a podcast, and I kind of want to develop it more than just a podcast. I want to kind of just envelop it into both audio and video. That is why I'm live here today. I'm going to do some chill out, hang out chats. Oh, speaking of chats, where's my chat window? Pop out. I mean, again, nobody's subscribed. This is probably all for prosperity if anybody feels so inclined to watch this later on. I just would like to, I don't know, have my own space to put out my own bullshit. Both creatively and also to get things off my mind. I feel like we've always lived in this society where it was like, shh, don't talk about your feelings. And now we're forced to confront our feelings because we're all stuck inside. I was just saying to my chiropractor that I think we're getting, there's more harm being done with people still being indoors because we as an American people, or just our hubris and our entitledness, we're pushing so hard against everything that is being enforced that I don't know, man. Like it's like it becomes like a very hard thing to figure out, because you know there's a good portion of this country that is just like, this thing is a hoax, there's nothing really to believe in. And then I'm just like sitting here going, okay, well, what do? Do I just sit inside and wait it out? Because basically how the last pandemic went is everybody who died of it, and everybody who survived. 20 to 50 million people perished, and it was very traumatic for people, because for a long time they didn't know what was happening or how. But it was also during, I believe, an election year. Woodrow Wilson became ill of the disease and hid it from the public. There was a great deal of hiding from the public when it came to pandemics and also other things, as well as blaming it on other countries. I refrain now from saying the Spanish flu or the Spanish influenza. It was a strain of H1N1 avian virus that was the cause of the last pandemic, not a strain of the coronavirus that we have now. But it was blamed on the Spaniards as being, like, I guess, dirtier. Not much has changed, but it's wild because you know what has changed between then and now is the fact that I am on the internet. I am live streaming and saying all of this stuff right now, and though there's a lot of information out there and a lot of it is wrong and improperly justified as factual information by very powerful people, there is truth out there, and it can be found and it can be verified if you look hard enough and you know where to look. I need to quit this autofocus right now. I need to also turn off the auto gain. That is why my camera keeps flashing. So maybe now it will stop doing that. Yeah, so the internet is going to be our biggest downfall in confronting this whole thing, because we're restricted as Americans from going to any other country because they all know that we're not taking it seriously enough, because we're all making it political, because we're all enveloped in our hubris, and that everything means everything, that, like, you know, there can't just be a widespread pandemic, and that the fact that we have mass communication, that no, it must be wrong, or they're lying to us, or we follow very prestigious and powerful news sources that have garnered that power through years of bad practices of following certain political leaders or ideologies or parties and not focusing on the well-being of the citizens they're presenting the news to. And it is very indicative when in the 70s you saw news corporations like CNN and Fox News and other things like that start to branch out from just the big three news conglomerates before them, which was ABC, NBC, and CBS. So it really became like, all right, well, if CNN is going to be super liberal on this side, Fox designed a complete news program that was going to cater to the conservative mindset of those people in America who felt at the time that their voices weren't being heard. And it was like, you know, there's factual information. The North won the Civil War. The South would like to tell you different. Because those who win normally have the power to write history, but those who have lost are actively trying harder and harder to make that not true anymore. Because if you have a hold of history, you have a hold of the future. George Orwell knew this when he wrote 1984. They found a book, and oh my god, a book. They hadn't seen they just heard rumors of it, murmurs, like whispers of a book, but I mean, no. There couldn't be words written on a page. I mean, again, if you have ever read or were forced to read 1984 in school, I need to do this, but I implore you to give it another read, because it is spooky. Yes, it is quite abstract in its creation of its world, but it ain't far off, especially when you consider the fact that this was written, I believe, in the 60s, predicting the 80s, where, if you really think about it, the 80s is where just massive boom in technology, music, pop culture, distraction, like colors, really. It's kind of wild because it can be encapsulated in the MTV generation, where MTV was so influential on the cultural zeitgeist of humanity that it influenced a generation of people to think and perform a certain way. And where are those people now? I mean, even Gen X so forcefully rejected the ideals of the 80s that they were actively, like, monotoned in their color palettes and ironic in their approach to how humanity dealt with its issues, problems, and acted. I never really understood that. Irony is weird to me. And then me, a millennial. Millennial is a big span of time. I think it's like 89 to 2001, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'm not doing the research. There's a computer in front of me, but... And it's wild that we found... that maybe the millennials have it a little more together, you know? Open-mindedness in terms of just acceptance of people. Oh God, you know, maybe this disease was designed to knock out the boomers, and I'm not saying that in a haha joking way. I mean it in a like, okay, well, there is a heavy population of people who are very old, but very, very influential in the American politics at the moment, because while there is a vast majority of old people, they make up of like 43% of our voting population density. Not the young people, not the minorities, the underprivileged, the people who need the representation, but the old white people. What if they can't vote? They'll figure it out. That's the thing. The boomers, when they all go in the next 10 years, 15 years or so, it's going to cause a big bubble of excess housing, lack of jobs. I mean, we're already wildly unemployed in this country, so who the hell knows? I mean, maybe this pandemic was a necessary evil to reconsider how we are structured as a country and make some big ass changes, because we've put some things in place that aren't going to benefit the people who have to live with it for the next couple of decades. It's going to benefit the wallets and prosperity of the old, rich, and cruel. You know? Sucks. Sucks. It really does. I don't like it. But it is the reality we are living in. I just think that this whole pandemic has allowed us to confront it and say, hey, assholes, look over here, because you haven't been. And it's fair. I haven't been. I mean, there's a lot of variance when it comes to how we've been played. How we've been played. Because we've been played so badly. But also remember, we're a country that was founded on greed and divine destiny. Or no, manifest destiny. Manifest destiny, the 19th century doctrine or belief that 19th century doctrine, or belief that the expansion of the U.S. throughout the American continents was both justified and inevitable. Manifest destiny, a phrase coined in 1845, is the idea that the United States is destined by God, a black, strong, powerful female, I might add, its advocates believe to expand its dominion and spread democracy and capitalism across the entire... I don't know if I want to read history.com. I have to find better source than history.com. The Religious Origins of Manifest Destiny by the National Humanities Center. Oh my god, I went on the second page of Google, you guys. Something that almost never happens. Let's see what dictionary.com. Trump invokes Manifest Destiny, February 2020 by the Washington Post in the State of the Union address. Still happening today. This idea that we've been blessed to steal, kill, pillage, rape, and take over land that isn't ours. What's lumenlearning.com? I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. In 1845, an unsigned article in a popular American journal, it's American Ideal, a long-standing Jacksonian publication, the Democratic Review, issued an unmistakable call for American expansionism. Focusing mainly on bringing the Republic of Texas into the Union, it declared that the expansion represented the fulfillment of a manifest destiny to overspread the continent allotted by the Providence for the free development of our yearly multiplying millions. Now, when this was taught to me in school, I just remember it being just an idea and a concept, and here's the thing, when it was presented to me at school, I was like, oh, cool. That's how it was meant to be. Like, we're just supposed to do this. Like, I knew base level, even as a high school, like, obviously what this really entailed and meant and what its ramifications meant and the disease and, like, well, they're on land we want, so get rid of them. It didn't hit me because I don't think it was taught to me in that manner at all. I think it was because the guy who was teaching it very much loved history and always taught it with a very heightened and happy expression, which I found dull, annoying, and droll. I really actually hated American U.S. history, and it just stopped right before the 60s, which I was like, oh, it's just getting good. But now I'm realizing, no, American history has always been good. It's just been bad because it's been rewritten by those who don't want the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad stories to come out. It's fun. Providence. Thus, a powerful American slogan was born. Manifest Destiny became the first and foremost a call and justification for an American form of imperialism, and neatly summarized the goals of the Mexican of the. Am I reading this right? This is a very small text. Actually, let me zoom in. Very small text. Thus, a flower post slogan was born, blah blah blah, summarized the goals of the Mexican War. It claimed that America had a destiny manifest, i.e. self-evident from God, to occupy the North American continent south of Canada. It also claimed the right to the Oregon Territory, including the Canadian portion. Manifest Destiny was also clearly a racial doctrine of white supremacy that granted no Native American nor non-white claims to any permanent possession of the lands on the North American continent and justified white American exploration of Indian lands. Manifest Destiny was also a key slogan deployed in the United States imperial ventures in the 1890s and early years of the 20th century that led to the U.S. possession or control of Hawaii and the Philippine Islands. Not that long ago. But Manifest Destiny was not simply a cloak for American imperialism and a justification for Americans' territorial ambitions. It also was firmly anchored in a long-standing and deep sense of a special and unique American destiny. The belief that, in the words of historian Conrad Cherry, America is a nation called to a special destiny by God. Now, I'm sure in other countries, if they even teach their history, and I don't know if this is the case for everywhere. I know if you're in a communist country, you can get shit about real history, but you may get a little more of a reality of your history because they're not trying to sugarcoat the years and years and years and hundreds of years of bullshit that went down, especially in like places like Rome, Italy, Germany, France, like older nations that have a written history. I mean, obviously Native Americans have a very long history, or is it indigenous people? I'm sorry, I don't know the proper terminology and it's changing every day, but if I did misspeak, please let me know. I want to change. If this ideology was pumped from the get-go when we started colonizing or pillaging this land, it really probably influenced us to this it obviously very much influenced us to this very day, because we have, again, that arrogance, that divine right that we don't deserve because there is no God. The notion that landmasses discovered by Christopher Columbus was present from... Wait. Oh, I skipped a whole line. The notion that there was some providential purpose to the European discovery and eventual conquest of the landmasses discovered by Christopher Columbus was present from the beginning. Both the Spanish and the French monarchs authorized and financed explorations of the New World because among other things, they considered it their divinely appointed mission to spread Christianity to the New World by converting the natives to Christianity. So very powerful people who had a very strict ideology, who had a very strict look on the people who they would agree with, came over and just made their own country. Fun. Again, this is all like new information. It's just very much like in a different context, in an older brain right now. It's very ugh. Okay. John Winthrop, governor of Massachusetts Bay Colony, gave the clearest and most far-reaching statement of the idea that God had charged the English settlers in New England with a special and unique providential mission. I think that's providential mission on board the Arabella on the Atlantic. Oh, that's Atlantic. Oh my God, Atlantic. On the Atlantic Ocean, 1830, Winthrop delivered the blueprint for what Perry Miller has dubbed an errand to the wilderness, which set the framework for most of the later versions of the idea that America had been providentially chosen for a special destiny. Winthrop delivered his Lane sermon just before his and his fellow passengers disembarked on the shore of Boston Harbor, the place where Winthrop proposed to which God had called them to build up a model Bible commonwealth for Protestants in England and elsewhere to emulate. Thus stands the cause between God and us. We are entered into the covenant with him for this work. We have taken out a commission, he declared, adding, if the Lord shall please to hear us and bring us in peace to the place we desire. We desire internal desires, like not godly desires, human desires. Then hath he ratified this covenant and sealed our commission, and will expect a strict performance of the articles contained in it. Alright, I'm not gonna... done with that. Manifest destiny, the belief or doctrine. I'm gonna define doctrine for you, 'cause I don't know what it means. A doctrine is a belief or set of beliefs and taught by a church specifically. Oh no, church, political party, or other group. Okay. Cool. So because we believed that we deserved it, we got it, and we took it. And what does that mean? Well, people died. Tulsa needs to give back their land. Or is it Tulsa? Where was that? What was that story about, like, oh, you guys, I mean, you know, we knew you weren't going to really give us back our land, but you didn't read the real fine documents, and now that we're in the 21st century and still trying to actively fight for our rights that we deserve in this country, people, you missed a part in the wording. So I think half of Tulsa or somewhere else, maybe it's not even Tulsa, but belongs to Native Americans, and it's all urbanized and, you know, not theirs. But, you know, we're living on cursed and taken soil. I think everybody is. That's kind of how we've worked as a group and a unit in the world. So until another, like, something happens, whether it be of our own fruition? I don't think it will be that. I think it will be like, because it'll be like a meteor or something. It'll be a snap, if it happens at all, in my lifetime anyway. But when everything gets a reset button, I do not know if it'll continue in this manner or way, because it is very intricate and very, like, yuck, wild. Jesus Christ, not saying we should all live in peace and kumbaya, that would be boring, but, like, it's getting exhausting. It's getting exhausting. It's getting exhausting realizing you're living in a world and a place that is built upon white supremacy and the ideal that God is the only God and the Christian God is the only God that there is. Oof, gross. Anyway, so I'm gonna see if this works. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Actually, you know what? I need to put text right here because I'm not leaving a blank space without text to promote something. Put that up there. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Oh no. And go. Just after President Trump. Okay, this is February 5th, 2020, by the Washington Post, written by Teo Armas, or Teo. Just after President Trump extolled his record on gun rights on Tuesday evening, his State of the Union address took a wild westward turn into an idea that's long been relegated in the history books. In reaffirming our heritage as a free nation, we must remember that America has always been a frontier nation. Don't really know what that means. He told members of Congress about 3/4 of the way through his speech. Now we must embrace the next frontier, America's manifest destiny in the stars. Are we going to space? Minutes later, some people on social media were alarmed. The phrase is anything but politically correct, on the left at least, and Trump and his base enjoy pushing the left's buttons. Yes, the GOP has been actively trying to push the left buttons for a while. Again, the South is trying to rewrite the history that the North actually did not win. As a historical concept, manifest destiny would be familiar to any student of AP US history. To make the case for westward expansion, many Americans in the mid-19th century argued that the nation had a God-given responsibility to push its territorial footprint farther, lest American experiment die out. Back then, it was a kind of veneer to make the whole thing seem nobler, a justification for protection of a country's perceived interests, even if it meant destroying many of the people and much of the environment in its path. Boy, oh boy, we will turn a blind eye if it means that we will feel better about our terrible, terrible actions. But we've always known this. How long have we been streaming? It says an hour and 19 minutes. I hope not. I think it's only been 19 minutes, but... well, it says 2 hours here. Has it been an hour and a half that I've been streaming? No, it's been 38 minutes. Okay. It's just an hour and a half that the stream has been going. Huh, interesting. So... I got 20 more minutes to kill, because that's what a live stream is, right? An hour? I don't know. Anyway, I actually have a little interlude that I could pull. This is a little video that, oh, let me turn this off, let me turn that on, let me turn the video on. This is, actually, let me make sure the video works. Okay, anyway. This is a little video that I created with my brothers way back when I actually was creating narrative storytelling stuff. I'm gonna go get a quick drink and use the bathroom. I'll be right back, and hopefully you enjoy. How perfect of a time was that? Like, I didn't even plan that. I was just like, it just popped my name up at the end. I was like, oh, nice. Anyway. Glitch in the Matrix. I want to take 3 deep breaths and then talk about my next topic. Why are we going back to school? Like, seriously. Why are we going back to school? Now, I know the severity of postponing, prolonging, or delaying a child's education, especially at a certain age in their life, which nobody's asking anybody to do. It's just going to be a little bit harder to do it from home. There are a lot of disparities when it comes to whether or not families' financial givings can determine whether or not they can put their child back into school or not. Like, if they have to go back to their work or their job, or they can't afford to, like, get their kids private schooling, or they can't afford a private tutor, or they can't afford daycare, or there's no daycare actively going because it's coronavirus. 20 to 50 million people. Again, that's how many died. And I'm like, when I read that number, I'm like, that's a large-ass margin that you're just, like, somewhere between there. Like, it could be, like, the other 30 million from the first 20 million. Those 20 million could have died from the H1N1 influenza that happened. And the other 30 million, it could have just been circumstance. And they died of other things, or old age, or something else. Or, no, 50 million, it ravaged and terrorized and... I know my camera's still flashing, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's the streaming software, and I don't know how to fix it. And if it's way too distracting, I'm sorry. I notice it too. Is it the encoder? If you have any idea as to what it could be, I would greatly appreciate any sort of help. Because live streaming, though I knew how to do it, is wildly difficult. And even more so when you have to create it up like a television show. Like, I'm so happy and proud that I had that little break where it wasn't any dead air for you. I mean, again, this is probably going to be just for reruns. Nobody's live with me right now. But I'm still wanting to flex that muscle, keep going. And I don't really have a schedule as to when I want to do these things, because I don't have a schedule in my life. Things change day to day, so subscribe and click the bell notification and make sure that it's on all notifications instead of just some notifications if you really want to watch these live. Otherwise, you can just check them out later on. They're going to be on my channel archived. But... oh, and you can also go to calmdowncole.com to listen to my podcast, which will hopefully be uploading every Wednesday/Thursday. I miss Jenna Marbles. That's a whole other thing. Julian, her boyfriend, just recently went on their Twitch recap channel on YouTube to give an update saying that the channel was being changed to just Julian instead of Jenna and Julian. And that was kind of like, ooh, that hit me. But I respect it. I wildly respect it because she's lived on the internet for over a decade. And I can only imagine what that kind of scrutiny, attention, and expectation does to a human being, especially when you started out in a comedic sense and you wanted to just have fun on the internet and do whatever you wanted. I kind of have the idea that I'm going to get a little bit more of a little more stern, what's the word? what I am talking about here and putting it out into the internet sphere, I imagine is going to garner a lot of criticism and a lot of, like, you know, backlash unnecessarily and maybe even necessarily. And you know what? As a human being, I am willing and here to learn. But at the same time, there aren't comments on my YouTube videos, and I'm trying to actively make sure that is a thing. And if there are ever comments on my YouTube videos, that is a mistake on my part. And here's why, and I'll tell you why. If you would like to tell me something, critique me, or what have you, you can find proper ways of reaching out to me. You're a smart person. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but if you are a smart enough person and you have valid critiques and comments, and I know the evil people will also find those proper ways of getting a hold of me, and yes, they will still hurt and sting, and yes, they may even have some validity amongst them, just with vicious and terrible, terrible ways about going. I, as a 25-year-old, with a little bit of a leveled head on his shoulders, it's not all there. I promise you it's not all there. There are kinks. There are kinks. Oh God, ew. Both sexually and otherwise. But it's just, I know what it's going to come to, and I can't imagine where she's like had content for the past like 5 to 7 years that's been just so lighthearted and fun and stuff she's wanted to do, and now she's gotten like, nope, you did that one thing years ago with your comedy and it was bad and fuck off. And I don't really know internally where she is with it, if this was just a catalyst to pursue her degree. And I know she has a master's in physical sports psychology, and I know she's got kind of had that prospect into like looking out for a job in that field. I don't imagine that's an easy thing to look for when you don't have any previous work experience, and also you are in the midst of a pandemic. But I have all of the best well wishes for Jenna Marbles, because I just think her content, whenever she uploaded a video, would just give me such a warm feeling. And even when it was a little bit more blue comedy, I mean, again, this is a white person talking about a white person who is, who has done things to, like, not in purpose, but like just, you know, done things to hurt minorities. And that's, you have to take it with a grain of salt, and I recognize that I can only say so much and do so much. But also not actively using my voice in things I just think is not useful at any point. Anyway, I just think, I think the world needs to take a chill pill and to not take it as seriously anymore, because you know what? We could literally all die tomorrow. Like, it's not even like, oh, there's the fear of an atomic bomb in the 50s or anything like that. I mean, I just touched my face and rubbed my eyes like that. You shouldn't do that. But, ew, look how, like, especially because it's going to make you look like that. But, I don't know. Live life on the edge. I have, like, a bottle of hand sanitizer, and I have masks in my car, and I haven't gone to a public facility, like a big open public facility like a Walmart or even like a bar or any place of entertainment since February probably, and I don't have any prospects of doing that this year. I know that come December I should not have had entered a bar or any place of entertainment, especially not a movie theater. That is a waste of time, and it probably caused me to have a heart attack, because this thing isn't going to be over by the end of the year, even with a vaccine. So I mean, again, a vaccine won't come by the end of the year, but, you know. Again, with the flickering, is that the bit rate? It says I've only dropped about 4% of my frames, so no, I'm not dropping frames. But I keep getting this warning saying YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, such as viewers will experience buffering. I don't know. It's a little late in the game to kind of switch everything up now. I hope it kind of made sense during, but maybe my change of bitrate will help. So those are just some of my thoughts and feelings on things. I don't think we should be opening up schools, like, even within the near, like, we should go past the whole school year. Like this whole next school year should just be an online only thing. I think private universities need to take the hit because they've already stolen so much of our money over the years that we need to really actively make sure that those who are in college systems, collegiate systems, are not going to be paying the external fees for things that they aren't going to be able to do in college. I have a degree in film and television production. A lot of that was hands-on in-studio learning and or having the ability to access equipment and things and communications and computers like for many hours of the day at all times, and to have like rentals. Like I would not have gotten my college degree, and I still kind of contemplate on some parts of my college degree, a lot of them actually, but I don't regret my college degree. I'm very happy I went to college. I just think I would never pursue the degree I have in this period right now. I would either take a break, get an associate's in something else, do something else to maybe benefit that, or I don't know, find a new way of life, because it's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like if I don't start creating something, god damn it, why did I go to college? Why am I wearing this? Whew. I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. So, thank you, nobody, for hanging out with me during this live stream. I've had a great time. It's actually going quite well. How's the middle part going, too? I'm also refusing to cut my hair because, 1, I think it's stupid to go to a hair salon right now. 2, I do have hair clippers at home. And 3, I want to donate it eventually. But I can't tie it up yet. It's not that length. I'm losing my mind if it touches me anymore. Like, this is usually the length I kind of, if that max, this is probably the longest it's been since middle school. But this is like so long, and the headband thing, the bandanas, I have tons of bandanas and some headbands. That's the only thing saving me from losing my mind every day, because if this hair keeps touching me, hats, it gets too sweaty. I actually, you know what, I just tried a visor, which is a look, but it keeps my head cool and my hair off my face, and it even has a little like shade to keep the hair off of my eyeballs, which, girls, if you are driving with any window down and you have no hair tie or anything, you are basically driving drunk. You are driving just as dangerously, just as recklessly. I don't know how you do it. I drive without AC, and when I sweat to my eyeballs, that is worse than driving drunk. Don't do it. So that's another reason for the bandanas. I cannot afford to have any sweat drip into my eyeballs on a highway. Just some of the things I'm going through right now. Have you ever seen The Goonies? It's a great film. I can be found at calmdowncole.com or this YouTube channel. You can search Calm Down Cole. This is, I guess, a segment called Chill and Chat with Cole, because this is the thumbnail that I've decided to go with, but, you know, what can you do? I'm keeping it with it because I keep changing my mind. But this is also a good, healthy stream that's going right now. And the percentage of drop frames has gone down a smidge, so I think I need to keep it about 4,700 kilobytes per second. I need to figure out what's going on with the flashing. It's kind of like, is it like smoothing my skin? It's going between like red hues and green hues. I don't know. Hope my audio wasn't too blown out. I hope also, I'm not going to use that Zoom microphone anymore, but it's also very echoey in here, and I recognize that, so I'm going to try to get more. I'm going to try to get sound foam or something up on the walls. Yeah. Have a good day. Wear a mask. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face like I just did. Goodbye.